Alright. So welcome back to semester 2. Ki Jai. So it's been a long break. Like my son also, his school resumed on Friday. He didn't want to go to school. So I don't know what's exactly the mood here.
Missing for a long time.
Missing for a long time. Okay. One person was missing the course. I know your answer. You know the answer. Written better things on Saturday evening. Delhi. So with the blessings of Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada and all the Acharyas and Shri Gaur Nitai, Shri Radha Vallabh, Shri Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. So we will begin this year session with today's class. Now what we are not going to do is to start from 5.8. It's not in today's class. So today's class what I thought was we'll do a quick recap of what has happened thus far. Essentially the key themes that we covered. Okay. And then also I want to spend quite a bit of time giving you some feedback on the essays that all of you have written. Okay. Exam results, which exam you are talking about? The closed book exam?
Yeah.
The closed book exam papers, I'll probably need another 2 weeks at least to give you your results. The open books, as much as I'm correcting and finishing, more and more essays are trickling in. Because even now people are submitting. Yesterday submitted, yesterday some essays I received yesterday evening when I was leaving office. So it's trickling in. I don't know how many people have sent today. So they are still trickling. So every time I think it's over, fresh lot comes. And Dina Vatsala Prabhu has sent me that whole Mill Park essay also. I think 3-4 days back. So hopefully along with that the closed book papers correction we will be done with. But I'm thinking of a slightly easier model where I am also able to give you all the results quicker. Then I don't want to take this inordinate time to give you all the results. So let me work on that. That's my side of improvement which I'll work on. Of course, on your side you need to submit the essays on time. First you need to submit the essays. Then you need to submit the essays on time. I have not seen any essays from you so far. So essays are a part of this course. The last extended day was 30th of January. 13th of January. Okay. 2013. Alright. So anyway, I'll give you all some feedback, and those of you who have not submitted the essays, please do so at least by mid of Feb. Okay. But I'm going to also tell you how I'm going to evaluate the essays which are coming in by that date. Then we'll also talk about, then I want to give feedback on the quality of essays that have been written. Both, there were some outstanding essays, and there were some essays which need, there's a lot of scope for improvement in those essays, like that. Lots of potential for improvement are there. So, both sides, we'll talk about the spectrum today. And we will also mutually agree on the date for the key memory verses exam for verses 1 to 4. And any new enrollments in this course, because some people have said that they want to join the course, like that. New enrollment. So we will talk about the criteria for new enrollments, and also we will talk a bit about Rath Yatra, which is coming up next week. So these are few things. This is a message from Anirudh Prabhu which I want to share. Right? Any thoughts, comments? We'll do a quick recap now of Bhagavad Gita chapters 1 to 4, the key themes that we covered in the last semester, if you like. So in the introductory session, we covered what is the aim of education. What is the aim of education? No. Good try. What is the aim of education?
Bring out that it is already decided.
Good. That means the recap is going to be useful, I think. Huh? There are three things which... Very good. So the aim of education is knowledge, skills and values. We started off with that. So that is the aim of this course also. To give us the knowledge of the Shastras, and then to be able to, for all of us to develop the skills by which we can become effective preachers, and also to be able to develop those values in our life by which we will increase the credibility, our own credibility of being a devotee and a preacher. If we don't have values and we preach, then nobody will come. Correct? So we need knowledge, we need skills, and we need values. Then we become a more effective preacher. Like that. All three are required. So that is the aim of education. Then we discussed the specific 12 aims of Shastric study. Anyone remembers that? Know that. Come. Okay. Cup, Fate, Mars. Knowledge. Yeah. What is evaluation? Okay, I was just joking. I know you don't know. You know it? What is evaluation? That is? Huh? No, not me evaluating a paper. That's not the aim of you studying. Evaluating situations to take a decision based on the Shastras like that. Okay. So go through your notes. Yeah, what else? Mars. Wooden mission. Apparatus. Huh? Ah, that is fine. R, A-R.
Responsibility.
Responsibility for learning is on who? Yeah, on all of us. Yeah. Okay. So we saw the 12 aims of Shastric study and academic integrity. We saw that also, right? And we'll talk about it a little bit. Then we looked at the goal of this particular course. This course, the success of this course is if this course inspires all the participants to read and study Prabhupada's books. That is the goal of this course. So whatever we do in this classroom, if it inspires you to study Srila Prabhupada's books, then we are meeting the objectives. To the extent it doesn't do that, that means there is a correction that is needed somewhere. For example, if the exam is too tough and you are not inspired to read Srila Prabhupada's books, then Brihad Bhanu Prabhu will say that the paper must be a little bit more easy. Correct? Another way of saying, what are other ways by which? So the cell leaders must meet with their groups more often. The cell leaders presumably should not say that the paper was tough. At least the cell leader should not say that. Because Jaisa Raja, Vaisa Praja. They cell leaders think, the same way the group will also think. Okay? So the cell leaders needs to facilitate the groups and explain to them as to why the paper was what it was and why the paper should be as such. And therefore to lift the game of the entire group. That is required. Of course, there is a scope for simplifying the papers also, which I will see where possible, then we will do that. I have discussed this matter with Keshav Prabhu, he shot it down. That's the good news. He said, what? Simplifying the papers. Why he is saying? Saying no. In fact, he said, I will give you the question papers which I have said. You can implement that. I am sure you don't want that.
Maybe you will try that.
Maybe you will try that also. Anyway, so we'll talk about that. Okay, obviously we'll have to, again, jokes apart, the goal is to inspire you to read Srila Prabhupada's books, and we will make some adjustments where we believe that it will lead to that goal of inspiring you to read Srila Prabhupada's books. Making it too simple may not, everyone will get high marks and a degree, but you wouldn't have studied Srila Prabhupada's books and not developed a deep understanding. which defeats the purpose of this course. So the goal of course is to study Srila Prabhupada scrutinizingly and also apply it in our personal lives and also in our preaching. So we saw this in the introduction. Then we started the Bhagavad Gita, study of the Bhagavad Gita. First we looked at the preface. The preface of the Bhagavad Gita talks about Srila Prabhupada's mood in writing the Bhagavad Gita. What was Srila Prabhupada's mood?
Mankind surrender to Krishna.
Correct. So his only desire was that after reading his book, the entire mankind surrenders to Lord Krishna. That is how he articulates that preface. He had no desire for prestige. Many people write, in India, many people write Bhagavad Gita for prestige. Without any depth, they will just write so that people will say they also wrote Bhagavad Gita. Like that. So many philosophers have written Bhagavad Gita in India. But reading such Bhagavad Gita, nobody has become devotee. Right? So Srila Prabhupada, his goal was very clear, that he wanted people to surrender to Lord Krishna. So after reading Bhagavad Gita, if one does not start chanting, then there is something wrong with the candidate or something wrong with the Bhagavad Gita. Right? Either the Bhagavad Gita is not written by a bona fide devotee, or the person after reading also has decided not to chant. There are two reasons like that. So Srila Prabhupada's goal was that. Also Srila Prabhupada mentioned that this Bhagavad Gita can be read by anyone. There is no discrimination. There is no qualification for reading. There is no discrimination. Anybody can read this. And Srila Prabhupada's purports, Srila Prabhupada said, my purports are my spiritual ecstasies. So Srila Prabhupada's love for his spiritual master and his love for Krishna is manifest in his purports. To that extent, Srila Prabhupada said that I have not written my purports. They have been dictated to be by the Lord himself. That's what Prabhupada said. Also, Srila Prabhupada's one of the key aspects of his mood and mission was to defeat Mayavadi philosophy. So, virtually in every chapter, you will find one purport where Mayavadis are being bashed up. Right? Why? Because Mayavadis have created havoc by writing Bhagavad Gita commentary, where they have removed the word Krishna out of Bhagavad Gita. To that extent, they have killed the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada was very, very heavy, and Srila Prabhupada carried the mood of his spiritual master in writing the purports like that. And then after reading the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada also wanted to encourage us to go and study the further scriptures, which are Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So one of the goals of this course is to, when we say reading Srila Prabhupada's books scrutinizingly, it doesn't mean reading Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita only scrutinizingly. It means after this study, then undertake the next course, which is called as Bhakti Vaibhav, study of first 6 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then move on to the further postgraduate course, which is Bhakti Vedanta, which we are going to start this year. From Monday onwards, we are starting that course here in the temple. And then eventually go to the PhD level, which is Bhakti Sarvabhauma, which is the study of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So there is lots that is to be studied in this small lifetime. So therefore we should not postpone our decision to read Srila Prabhupada's books. So that is what we studied in the preface. Any questions thus far?
Just I want to know, studying Bhagavad Gita individually and assess the essence of that, or to read in a group, 2 or 3, and discussing after reading the verse.
Yeah. So both are required. Both are required, because what will happen? Some people will only want to study in teams, which means they will not study. They will want others to study and facilitate their study. They will not take the trouble of studying themselves. So the point is, one must study oneself also, exhaust the limits of one's understanding, and then sit in a larger group, and then everyone discusses. And then obviously there will be someone in that group who has understood more than the others, who we call as the facilitator of that particular cell. So like that. So both are required. So otherwise what will happen is, everything will come under teamwork. There will be no individual effort there. So both are required. Okay, then from the preface, we moved on to chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita. Now what are the key lessons that we saw in chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita? The first aspect we saw is, the first theme we saw is the influence of the holy dham. So why is it, what did we cover in the influence of the holy dham?
The outcome of the
Yeah. So the holy dham can impact the outcome of any endeavor that is performed in the holy dham. So, and this was also an essay topic for all of you. So Srila Prabhupada mentions that Vrindavan, Mayapur, all these are holy dhams. And it is mentioned in the Nectar of Instruction that the end of our lifetime, then one must go and reside in these holy dhams, following in the footsteps of the eternal residents of that holy dham. Like that. So we saw the various aspects that are associated with the holy dham. We also saw that any pious activities that are done in the holy dham get multiplied so many times, but any aparadas that we do in the holy dham also get multiplied many times, except for Sridham Mayapur, where no offences are considered. Kali Yugi Avatar Chaitanya Nitaya Papa Pashanda Nahi Mane. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, they don't consider any offences at all. It is said that even when you sleep in Mayapur, the Lord considers it as if you are paying obeisances. So to that extent it is a Audarya Dham. So there are no offences that are considered in Mayapur Dham. So the practical application of that was what? That we must take some time off in the year and then visit the holy dhams for a yatra. So for that we must save our precious leaves and then invest it in going to the holy dham. Also we saw that premature retirement in the holy dham is not a very good idea, because what is Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission? What is the mood of ISKCON? Preaching. So there is no point in prematurely going and saying that, I will sit in Mayapur. Of course, if spiritual master specifically gives an instruction for us that I have some seva for you in the holy dham, then one can go and settle down. But prematurely going and settling down in Mayapur can be dangerous, or Vrindavan can be very dangerous to our spiritual life. So there is always that timing which is there on when to settle down in the holy dham. So the mood for a devotee, as prescribed by the Acharyas, is go to the holy dham once a year, get spiritually surcharged, and then come back, improve your sadhana and preach with more vigor. So that is how we use the holy dham. It's like charging the cell phone. Do all your talking and preaching, and then when the battery runs out, go and charge it again start with full force, like that. So it's like recharging our batteries. So we saw the influence of the holy dham. Now because the holy dham was the holy dham, therefore Dhritarashtra was very concerned with the outcome of the battle, because he always knew that the holy dham will always favor those who are on the pious side, like that. Then we moved on to see the diverse moods that were prevalent in Kurukshetra at that time. So we saw the mood of Duryodhan. What was the mood of Duryodhan? Diplomatic, envious. These are the two things that came out in Duryodhan's mood. In the way he was not only, what to speak of dealing with the Pandavas, with his own seniors, his conversation had sarcastic overtones. So we saw that, how he deals with Bhishma. And Prabhupada comments that he is trying to prick them. So we saw Duryodhana's mood. Then whose mood did we see? We saw the mood of Bhishma. Bhishma's mood was what? He had only one goal in Kurukshetra. What was that? That he wanted to see the Lord charge at him. That's all he wanted. There was no other business he had in Kurukshetra. So which got fulfilled. And then when it got fulfilled, he had no other desire. He wanted to go back. Right? And the Lord also had plans for Bhishma to speak Varnashrama Dharma, which he does in first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So his mood was, in that sense, service to the Lord. Bhishma is a Mahajana. Why would he have any other goal? Then we saw the mood of Dronacharya. So there is a lecture by Govind Prabhu that I am listening to only on Dronacharya. Dronacharya and Karna both are often pitied. Most Indians, they say, no, Dronacharya was a Brahmana. But actually, Govind Prabhu in his lecture systematically tells us why Dronacharya is not fit to be called as a Brahmana. I will let you all listen to that lecture. So there are a series of points he makes about Dronacharya and why it was very befitting that he be killed in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But Prabhupada also points out certain good shades of Dronacharya.
Is it in controversies of Mahabharata or?
It's in a separate series of lectures.
So not ISKCON design?
No. Not on ISKCON design.
How will you access them?
So I'll give you one or two lectures on that. Whatever is relevant, I'll give. I'll give it to you, maybe we'll upload it somewhere. Shivanand Prabhu can upload it in the same website wherever you are uploading that one lecture. Okay, so we saw the different moods of different people. What was Lord Krishna's mood? Pardon? Yeah, Bhaktavatsala. He was interested in protecting his devotee at any cost. So for that reason, the Lord was even willing to break his vow that he took. So there were diverse expectations and moods said there.
I've got a question. Saying in one of the girls' lecture, in conclusion, he was saying like Krishna, apparently it looked like he broke his vows, but he didn't break his vows. But when speaking purposes, we always say but in reality, did he break it?
First of all, you have to understand that Lord Krishna, see, when you say break vows and not break vows, you are talking about Dharma Shastra. Dharma Shastra is not applicable to the Supreme Personality of God, in one sense, because he is above the Dharma Shastras. That is why he is called as the Absolute Truth. Everything is subordinate to the Absolute Truth. In fact, again, one more lecture I was hearing of Govind Prabhu recently. And Govind Prabhu tells that dharma is that which protects dharma. Though it may sound like adharma. Dharma is anything which is protecting dharma. So he says that. It's a bit, you have to hear a whole lot of things which he talks before that to understand the context. But this is the one punchline which he gives. Dharma is that which protects dharma. Like that. But what we are talking about right now is the absolute truth, from whom everything comes. So there is a Param Satyam which is above all dharma. So whatever Krishna does is Param Satyam. You cannot even analyze it in these. You cannot do the Tolmap. These are all, in that sense, these are all mundane. Dharma Shastra and all are pretty mundane when it compares to the level of the absolute truth. We saw the various aspects associated with the names of the Lord. So we saw the Lord's many names are given in Bhagavad Gita. Then we saw Dhira Lalita Krishna, Dhira Prashanta Krishna, Dhiro Dhata Krishna and Dhiro Datta Krishna. So we saw the different moods, of the Lord, on the basis of which he is getting his various names. So this is another thing we saw. Then we saw how the Lord is always eager to serve the devotees and vice versa. Some of you have this essay topic. Most of you have, like many of you have written how the Lord is eager to serve the devotees, but very less has been written on vice versa. I think people forgot that vice versa while writing the essay. Okay. So the Lord is willing to take the position of the charioteer of Arjuna to protect dharma, to protect his devotee. So we saw that. Then we also saw what are the key considerations of a devotee in decision making in chapter 1. What was the context of that? Who had that essay? Nobody had that essay. Don't tell me people who have written the essay forgot that they wrote that essay.
She's in the next room.
Okay, she's in the next room.
Guru Sadhu.
Huh?
Guru Sadhu and Shastra.
Yeah, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, they have to be the key considerations of a devotee in decision making. Because why this comes? Because Arjuna was also in complete perplexity on what to do. Should I kill? Should I retire? Run away to the forest? Right? Should I end my own life? So many thoughts are coming, in his mind. So what is the criteria? Key considerations. So we saw that the essence of decision making is consulting Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So these are the key themes we saw in chapter 1. In chapter 2 is all about, most of chapter 2 is, of course, it's a summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita in one sense, but much of it was discussion around the body and the soul. So this is where Srila Prabhupada gives wonderful refutation of the Mayavadi philosophy. So there are a lot of things that are mentioned. So the Mayavadis say that Krishna is a product of the material energy. When Brahman comes in contact with Mahatattva, then it takes a form. Now, sometimes it takes a form, sometimes Brahman reveals itself in its entirety, and that is called as Krishna. And sometimes Brahman doesn't reveal itself in its entirety, which is all of us. So these kind of interpretations are given by the Mayavadi philosophers. Srila Prabhupada very systematically refutes that philosophy by saying that if Lord Krishna was an ordinary person, then the Bhagavad Gita has no locus standi in society. How can, why will anyone read the Bhagavad Gita, first of all? Or then who is Krishna to speak the Bhagavad Gita? Like that. So you are using the Bhagavad Gita, you are saying that this is written in the Bhagavad Gita, but Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Lord Krishna. So then if Lord Krishna is imperfect, then why Bhagavad Gita itself? So Prabhupada is actually countering the whole, there is no credibility to the Bhagavad Gita, if that philosophy is true. So they are defeating themselves by quoting from a scripture which they themselves are saying that does not have any credibility. So that is a kind of logic that Prabhupada gives there. Then Prabhupada also quotes that the Lord says, never was a time when you were not there, I was not there, nor all this army was done. And that is also again defeating Mayavadi philosophy. Why it is defeating? Because Lord Krishna is using the word you, I, which means what? Lord Krishna is talking about individuality. He is saying that individuality of existence is eternal. So that means there is individuality. That means everything is not one. Not all is one. So we saw that also. So that's a beautiful purport Prabhupada is writing there. So systematically he is breaking the Mayavadi philosophy. Also he is breaking Shunyavad. He is breaking modern scientific philosophy. So various refutations Prabhupada is giving. And Prabhupada is establishing that we are not the body, we are the spirit soul. Because Lord Krishna is also explaining that to Arjuna. So Lord Krishna then, having established that Arjuna is not his body but he is a spirit soul and the existence of the spirit soul is eternal, then he moves on to the topic of what is true compassion versus false compassion. True compassion is what? Compassion for the soul. False compassion is compassion for the body. Srila Prabhupada gives a famous example of a drowning man. At the end of the day, you are trying to save the dress of a drowning man. What is the point? Somebody is drowning, you are saying, I found his shirt and trouser. Very nice. Where is the man? No, he died. What is the point? Correct? So this is like caring for the body and the soul. And today we were giving class today in the Saturday feast program. We were discussing the same point, that compassion should be for the soul, because soul is what is eternal. So even when devotees do philanthropic activities like feeding the poor people, we don't give them non-vegetarian food or chicken biryani or whatever to a starving person. We don't even give mundane vegetarian food. We give prasadam. So it satisfies the body as well as the soul. So the compassion of the of the Vaishnava is always extended, is always on the platform of the soul. That's why the instructions which are given on the platform of spirituality will differ from the instructions which are given on the platform of mundane morality. Right? For example, if somebody is saying, my father is in hospital, he is in the last stage of life, then what will mundane morality say? No problem. Don't worry, everything will be alright. I understand what you are feeling. Everything will be alright. Don't worry about it. Fine. Don't take it easy. All these things people say, nice things. But a devotee will completely give a different picture. Of course, devotee will understand that if the doctor has said there is no hope, then a devotee will at least go and do kirtan and then read some Bhagavad Gita, etc., etc. So the approach which a devotee takes is completely different. The approach of a devotee is a completely different approach we will take. So we saw false versus true compassion. And Lord Krishna is saying that the compassion which you are exhibiting by saying that I will not kill the Kauravas is actually compassion for their bodies, not for their souls. Right? And then he says that at the end of the day, Lord Krishna reveals that he has already killed them. You are nimitta matra. You are just instrument. I have already killed them. So he is saying that. So where is the question of his compassion? Then Lord moves on after defining the difference between body and soul, because that forms the genesis of yoga system. If we don't understand that we are not the body, we are the spirit soul, then any discussion on yoga will be meaningless. Then Lord Krishna takes Arjuna through a journey of the different yoga systems. Beginning with Karma Kanda. Of course, there is the third chapter that is coming more. In the second chapter, he is giving more of an overview. He is talking about Sankhya Yoga, difference between matter and spirit. So only when we understand the difference between matter and spirit can we cultivate real detachment from this material world. Therefore, the place of Sankhya Yoga, the importance of Sankhya Yoga is captured in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Unless we understand the temporal nature of matter vis-a-vis the eternal nature of spirit, then there is no incentive for a soul, which is spirit, to work for the long term. So the different analysis of different yoga systems are given. There is a lot of discussion that comes around Buddhi Yoga. So what is Buddhi Yoga?
Krishna Consciousness.
What is Buddhi Yoga?
Karma forms in knowledge.
Correct.
Studying God in knowledge.
Correct. Nishkam Karma Yoga performed with knowledge. This is a definition which we have written on the board. So you have to read your notes. Okay. So all of you have to catch up on notes. Nishkam Karma Yoga performed on the platform of knowledge is called as Buddhi Yoga. So there is a lot of discussion around the Buddhi Yoga. And we will discuss that. In the next chapter it will become more clear. So there is an analysis of different yoga systems. Then the famous verse, Vyavasayitmika Buddhi Ekeha Kurunandana Bahushaka hi Anantascha Buddhaya Avsadana. The importance of maintaining one-pointedness in Bhakti, in spiritual life. We discussed quite a bit of that. If we do not understand the temporary nature of the body and the eternal nature of the soul, then our religious practices will also not be in the right direction. For example, if we don't understand we are eternal, if we think at the end of the day the goal of life is just to be more and more happy in the 60 or 70 or 80 years that Bhagavan has given us, then we will only, if we only have that vision, then we will say, okay, let me go to Lord Ganesh, Pullayar, and then let me pray that, oh Vigna Vinayaka, please remove any obstacles to my promotion in office. Please give, nice academic result. I have given exam. Right? Please ensure that I get into the medical stream in this college. So we are going to pray. This will be the kind of prayers that we will do. If we don't know the higher truths like that. So the knowledge of the eternity of the soul and the temporary nature of the body is fundamental to developing one-pointedness in spiritual life. So that connection is there. Then we saw that Arjuna is telling Lord that now please accept me as your disciple, right? So there we saw how subordination is required for Siksha to flow. Where there is no subordination, then Siksha will not flow there. Now this is a very important principle to understand, and we discussed quite a bit of this. So one has to have good relationships with senior Vaishnavas. If we do not have good relationship with senior Vaishnavas, then the senior Vaishnavas will not interfere in our life as much as they would if we have good relationships with them. So it is very important. Also, it is very important not to become over familiar with senior Vaishnavas. Senior Vaishnavas will deal with us in a friendly manner. But sometimes it is easy for us to become over familiar, and when we become over familiar, then we will not be able to extract from them what otherwise we would be able to extract. So therefore, that difference has to be maintained. Many times we see that there are many people who are very close to their spiritual masters. Every time spiritual master goes somewhere, then these people are always huddled around him 24 hours. But from their behavior, from their manners, it becomes very evident that they are very over familiar with their spiritual master. In fact, sometimes we have seen that they don't even allow the spiritual master to speak. They are only speaking all the time. Whereas everyone wants to hear from the spiritual master. But we are giving purports. Just because we have been given that position of authority, we are giving our purports to everyone. Correct? So therefore, while this will be very nice on a photo album, this will be very nice for getting prestige amongst the Vaishnava community, this will finish our spiritual life. We will never become introspective. We will never become sober with this kind of a mood. Because it is very easy to make other people scared of us. By our proximity to spiritual master. You know that you can't enter the room without my permission. Like that, You almost start controlling, thinking that you are the controller. Just because the spiritual master is giving you that little bit of liberty, then you start taking control. So, and to that extent that when we deal with the spiritual master also, we are dealing every time like a friend with him, without understanding who that personality is. And what is my relationship with that personality? Then all the time we are joking with him, we are just doing mundane conversations. So then the Siksha is not going to flow like that. So therefore this is very important. Siksha cannot flow without subordination. Subordination doesn't mean only at the physical level. Subordination also has to be at the mental level, at the psychological level. There has to be subordination means Pariprashnena sevaya. Not only sevaya. That is why that verse is very beautiful. We may be serving Maharaj, but what is the service? Pariprashnena sevaya. There must be service, but there must be inquiry also. If we only serve spiritual master, if there is no inquiry, then what will happen? That service will become the reason for our pride. So that service has to be accompanied by inquiry. Like that. Then we saw in chapter 2 the importance of controlling the senses. So we saw the principle of a tortoise. How a tortoise deals with the world. So withdrawing the senses and indulging the senses in the service of Krishna. So having understood the knowledge of the body and the soul, having understood the temporary nature of matter and the eternal nature of the soul, then the devotee realizes the impermanent nature of happiness in this material world. Right? So whenever devotee sees an opportunity for material indulgence, he withdraws the senses. But the moment he sees an opportunity for serving the Lord, then he indulges in that activity. Like that. So we saw the tortoise principle also. So these are the key lessons that Lord Krishna is actually giving to Arjuna in chapter 2. Then in chapter 3, the theme which we saw was how premature retirement is a risky proposition. We did some smattering of that in chapter 2 also, but in chapter 3 it was also discussed in great detail. How premature retirement. So Arjuna is saying, now I will go to the forest. He is still continuing their lamentation. Right? So what will you go and do in a forest? Because in the forest you may not see any human beings, any living entities, but you are still carrying your contaminated mind with you in the forest. Where will you go with your mind? Your mind will not allow you to be in peace even in a forest. So therefore retirement doesn't mean just going to a forest or running away. Today morning Karunanidhi Prabhu gave a very nice class on retirement. So Karunanidhi Prabhu was, and we were speaking about retirement in the previous week also, in one of the classes, and because the topic was Pandavas retire timely. So if we see the history of Vaishnavas, how they have retired timely. So when to retire and what to do after retirement is very important. But more important than that is how to prepare oneself for retirement. So there are 3 aspects in the sequence. Preparing oneself for retirement, when to take that retirement, and after retirement to do what. 3 things are important here. So whatever right now devotional service that we are all performing, that is a preparation for our retirement. One day we are expected to completely cease from material engagements and dedicate our full time in Krishna consciousness. That is called as Vanaprastham. Right? Vanaprastham has got means one. One means what? Forest. But it doesn't mean that we have to go into some Jharkhand forest or somewhere. No? It doesn't mean that. Correct? Vanaprastham means Prabhupada says our one is what? Vrindavan or the Holy Dham. So we have to go to the Holy Dham for retirement. But that instruction, yes, it is true, but that is still the mood of a Bhajananandi saint. We saw that there are 2 types of saints, Bhajananandi and Goshtianandi. So retiring to do Nirjan Bhajan in the Holy Dham is still the mood of a Bhajananandi saint. Whereas the mood of Srila Prabhupada, in whose lineage we are coming, the mood of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami did not go and sit in a one and lock himself. If he would have done that, we would not have got any scripture. Nectar of Devotion, nothing would have come. Right? If all of them would have done Nirjan Bhajan. Right? But he wrote scriptures. He left something for us. So this is compassion. So a Vaishnava, a Bhajananandi, a Goshtianandi saint, the whole premise of his existence is compassion towards the fallen souls. And when the Lord sees that compassion, that compassion to the other fallen souls is the basis of our deliverance from this world. Our sadhana is not going to be, yes, it is important, no doubt, but our basic premise of our deliverance from this material world is going to be our compassion for fallen souls. So that is why the mood of our acharyas is completely different than some of the Babajis who may be doing Nirjan Bhajan. Like if you go to Vrindavan, there is one Radha Charan Prabhu who will take you, to meet so many Babajis who are meditating inside the forests. Yes, they are glorious, undoubtedly. But our mood is, if you see that Babaji's mood and if you see His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj's mood, it will be completely different. Jayapataka Swami Maharaj is also a pure devotee. Right? But externally, if you see the activities, they are completely different. In this health situation, the very fact that he came here to Melbourne all the way, taking flights all the way from US to South America and then from there to South Africa, right? And then from there to here. You can imagine in this state where it is, he has to be picked up and it's extremely difficult. His eyelids don't close. But here in this mood, in this stage also he is preaching. He's trying to say anyone for shelter, It's like, it's the height of compassion, You can't even imagine this, right? He's worried about giving shelter to others, even now. In this stage. So this is the mood of a Goshtianandi, which is what Prabhupada wants us to imbibe. He is known as the king of Mayapur. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj is known as the king of Mayapur. In Mayapur, in fact, the driver, both the times when I asked the driver who is a spiritual master, both drivers told Jayapataka Maharaj. When we went and purchased bed sheet from somewhere, he said, Jayapataka Maharaj disciple. So the whole of Mayapur is his disciple, right? So he can sit and do his bhajan there itself, but still he is coming out because he wants to save the whole world. Same mood you see in Shankarshan Das Adhikari also. Shankarshan Das Adhikari Maharaj, once I was talking to him, I was driving him somewhere, he said that I want to deliver the entire world. There should not be anybody who is not Krishna consciousness, who is not Krishna conscious. A few years back he said that. Right? That is the mood. And that is why they are traveling at this age. So this is your life, my life, your life, your life. This is how our Vanaprastham should be. Burijan Prabhu, if you say. They have set the standards for us. So our Vanaprastham is not retiring into a holy dham and getting into a forest. Husband and wife together at some point in time wind up your material engagements, enough of now working in the corporate life, retire and go and start preaching. 6 months maybe live in the holy dham, charge your batteries, or 3-4 months holy dham, and then remaining part of the year go to Delhi, wherever you can go there and just give your association to everyone. Because people are rotting outside in the material world. There are enough people to be saved in this material world. Nobody is happy. So then we are the change agents of society. So that is our mood, that is our goal. Now to be able to do that, the first step is we have to take that retirement. To take that retirement is not a one-day decision. It starts with simplifying our life, our needs. So we saw that. First we have to gradually by our sadhana, slowly simplify our needs. Right now, just go and do that much work which is required to keep body and soul together. But the remaining time, invest in introspecting where we are going wrong in our life, where we need to improve in our sadhana, in our services, in our behavior, in what we talk. Constantly introspect that. And that will take a lifetime. And then correct ourselves. So keep doing that, and gradually then one day that day will come. Even if it doesn't come out of your purity, corporate life is very merciful to us. They will give us voluntary, kick behind if we still continue to stay. Karunanandi Prabhu said that in today's class. If we don't retire, then company will kick us out. So whichever way it is Krishna's arrangement for us, then what we do after that is this is the life we need to lead. So this is not premature retirement, preparation for retirement, and what to do after retirement, this is what we need to do. Not sit with a newspaper and coffee, brew coffee on the table and watch Sun TV. Aratta Arangam. Umaranna irukku program. This is not retired life. This is the life of animals. This is not retired life, right? Retired life means preparing ourselves for death. That is retired life. Death is coming. So we have to prepare ourselves. So we have to become serious in Krishna consciousness. We have to know Ayur Harati Vaipumsam Udyan Ashtam Cha Yan Asau Kalau Nashta Tasyarte Yat Shano Nita Uttama Shloka Vartaya. With every rising and setting of the sun, we are one step closer to death. And death aata hi rahega. We will continue watching television and death will come and snatch us away. And then, because we are wasted the human form of life, which was the last opportunity for self-realization, we will not even get a human form of life. What a waste. How do you feel? You are watching your famous television program, Kaun Banega Crorepati, and then you are leaving the body and you are getting the body of a dog. How does that sound? Not worth it, right? Not worth it, just not worth it. Then as a dog, it wouldn't matter also, Kaun Bana Crorepati. Kaun Bana Kutta. Correct? Who became dog? It doesn't matter. With a dog doesn't have anything to do with money. Correct? So therefore, this is a lifetime preparation. Many times people say, this devotional life, idella vayasana appuram pannanum. People will say, in Tamil, because I am coming from Madras, therefore I am speaking Tamil. Okay? So when I do also my relatives, yenda ippo idella adella appuram pannanum. Enga vayasku irukumbodhu pannanum. Then you ask, unga vayasku neenga pandrelo? Enga time kedayadu. Correct? Sorry. So yes, sir, this all has to be done when you are our age, not now. Then you ask them, you are your age, no, are you doing it? Then they say, I don't have time. Okay. So these are all excuses. Because of ignorance. Because we think that Yudhishthira Maharaj, Yamaraj asks him, what is the thing that is most... Yamaraj asks him or who asks him? Yamaraj asks him. What is the... Yaksha asks him, what is the thing that is most bewildering to you in this world? Yudhishthira Maharaj says that people see everyone dying, but everyone thinks I will not die. Or maybe they think, I'll die, but not tomorrow. Maybe after some time I will die. No, like that. Nobody knows. So therefore there is no seriousness about spiritual life. So, premature retirement is also risky, but too late of retirement is also risky. Or no retirement is even riskier. So therefore, ideally, 25 years Brahmacharya, 25 years Grihastha, then Vanaprastha, 25 years, and then Sannyas, like that. Let's not talk about Sannyas. That's a different subject matter altogether. But at least Vanaprastha. And this is good enough. In fact, Acharyas have also said that even in a Grihastha ashram you can go back to Godhead. But Grihastha Vanaprastha it should be. Not an husband and wife, enjoying each other's body till 75 years old. Like that. Some stories also we heard, in hospitals. Okay. Where in this country, even people who are at that age, 90 years and all, still the desire for sex is not going from the heart. 90 years old. Right? So therefore, that desire will not go with age. It will only go with practice. Practicing spiritual life. Then we saw in chapter 3, Srila Prabhupada uses the word Mithyachari. Mithyachari means what? Imposter. Show bottle spiritualists. Okay. We have seen in India also, so many people are coming. Nityananda, that Nanda, this Nanda. Right? Full of scandals and God knows what they are preaching. Okay. But at the end of the day, devotees are not coming out from that. People with humility, service attitude, bhakti to the Lord, these are not coming out from this preaching. Obviously because they are upper sampradayas. They don't come from any sampradaya. Somebody has started. Maybe he has some mystic powers. He will show some vibhuti like that from the hand. Some ash will come. So, but we understand. These are all just tricks of Ashtasiddhis. That's all. They are not concerned with bhakti at all. Nothing to do with bhakti. So we discussed the various types of imposters. Charlatan, hoaxer, egotist, then abuser and transgressor. C-H-E-A-T, cheat. Charlatan, hoaxer, egotist, abuser, transgressor. This was based on a lecture given by Gaurang Prabhu called Saints and Swindlers. If anyone of you have not heard, then you please hear that. Very interesting lecture. So we saw the different types of Mithyacharis. And why these Mithyacharis are existent today? Because people want everything cheap today. They don't want to pay anything. Even bhakti they want cheap. Can I do something fast and get moksha? No problem. $10,000 we will do yajna. 10,000 rupees. Just give nice coffee. During the yajna, ella vadyaru coffee kudukonu. Something like that, All vadyars, priests must be fed nicely. This vadyar should get 4,000 rupees, he should get 2,000 rupees, everything pakka. Oh, time, can you reduce the time from 4 hours? Sikram, I have to go to office on that day. Oh, no problem, 1 hour yajna is also there. No problem. So this is called as nonsense, cheating business. Correct? Because we want to be cheated, people are waiting. Oh, you want to be cheated? Come. Very nice. I have been waiting. Where were you all these days? Come. So because we are used to spurious goods, therefore there is a market for spurious goods. If we want genuine stuff doesn't come easy. If you want admission to some Baba Saheb College of Engineering, paying some $20,000 donation, you will get easy admission. Which branch you want? Computer science, no problem, 1 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees, no problem. No, any branch you will get. We will make you principal also if you give more. Huh? But what is the value of that product? Nothing. But if you want to get into IIT, then you have to work very hard. So anything which is very of value in this world comes at lot of effort. It will not cheap. It is not. Krishna Bhakti will not come cheap. Krishna Bhakti will not come simply by, saying that I am a nice man. We will not go to anybody's vambu. Or we will not go and, we will just remain in our house nicely. We will watch TV. We will perform some puja. Just go to the temple once a day and, okay, it will all come. And Bhagavan will come in golden chariot. I have come, where were you? No? It will not come like that. It requires lots of sadhana. But the beauty is that sadhana can be done any time. There is no age limit, there is no time limit, nothing. Even we can become pure even in the last stages of our life. And still Prabhupada will come and take us back to Godhead. For which the only thing Srila Prabhupada said, follow 4 regulative principles and chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Even if we do it now, Prabhupada will come and pick us up. That is very important to do. So, from there we moved on to the next theme. What is the rightful place of knowledge in devotional service? For example, in Bhaja Govindam, Raja Gopalachari says, knowledge without bhakti is useless tinsel, he says. Before M.S. Subbalakshmi starts singing Bhaja Govindam. So what is the importance of that knowledge? Knowledge must be there, otherwise our bhakti will become simply sentiment. So knowledge must be there. But too much of knowledge without bhakti is useless tinsel. It will not lead you anywhere. Samprapte sannihite kale nahi rakshati dukaran karne. Right? All the rules of grammar, I have by-hearted Jnana Shastra, I can quote from here, I can quote from there, but as long as you have not done Sharanagati to the Lord, what is the point? And Sharanagati to the Lord doesn't mean simply raising the hands like this, So knowledge has to be, there has to be proper understanding of the Shastras to get the right motivation to do bhakti. But too much emphasis on knowledge and not doing what is being told will also not get us anywhere. So religion without philosophy is sentiment, and philosophy without religion is mental speculation. So both are required. Jnana is required and bhakti, both are required. But more important is what? Bhakti. That is why Rupa Goswami said what? What is Uttama Bhakti? Jnana karmadi anavritam. Knowledge has got no place in the realm of bhakti. The Gopas in Vrindavanam, the Gopas and Gopis, they don't recite big shlokas. They are just interested in playing with the Lord. Right? You don't require too much knowledge for doing that. So whatever knowledge that we have, the knowledge must make us more introspective and humble. Otherwise, if the knowledge makes us more proud and does not lead to service, then that knowledge becomes useless. So we saw the rightful place of knowledge in devotional service. Then we saw how Bhakti Yoga is the express elevator. What are the different types of yogas? This is where we saw the yoga ladder. Different types of yogas, what did we see? Starting with Karma Kanda. In fact, below that is what? Most of mankind is below Karma Kanda. In fact, Gaurang Prabhu was once giving a class. So somebody asked a question, Prabhu, the karmis are doing like this. So Gaurang Prabhu said, stop. There are no karmis in this world. Karmis means what? Karmis means who do Karma Kanda for attaining wealth. How many people are doing Karma Kanda for attaining wealth today? What do we do to attain wealth today? We try to cheat, we try to do politics. This is not Karma Kanda also. Karma Kanda is at the lowest rank of the yoga ladder. We are not even there. Most of mankind is not even. Therefore, there are no karmis, he said. Anybody is doing Karma Kanda at home? Nobody is doing. Nobody even knows what is Karma Kanda. So there is no karmis. But still, so most of mankind is in animal life. Then from animal life we come to human platform of life. Then we start recognizing that some authority is there. I am not the supreme personality. Somebody is there above me. At least that humility will come. Then with that humility, then we start saying that, okay, now I want promotion, I want house, I want children, I want grandchildren. So for all these things, then we will go and pray to the Lord. Right? I want good career. Right? We will pray to the Lord. So that is called as what? Karma Kanda. That is what is called as karmis. That means I am going to the temple, worshipping the Devi and Devatas, but the goal of my worship is I want something. Correct? That is called as Karma Kanda. But still these people are better than those people who never enter the temple, who have nothing to do with. They are rejecting. There is no Bhagavan. These people are better than that. Higher than that are those people. Who are the people higher than karmis? No? Sakama karmis. Sakama karma yoga. Because that is where the yoga word is now starting to appear. In karmis, there is nothing called as karma kanda yoga. It's not like that. From karma kanda, then they move it to sakama. What will happen is, and this was again prevalent in the older times, the Vadyar will come, he will do all the puja, whatever you want for your promotion, but ultimately he will say, Shuklam Bharadram Vishnu, may not Shuklam Bharadram Vishnu. What is that? Kayana Vacha Manasendra Karo Sakalam Parasmai Narayana Eti Samarpayami. So he will ultimately, when doing the karma kanda, eventually wo sloka to aayega na. Ultimately it will come there, right? Even when I was in Larsen and Dubro, that time we used to do Dashara Puja. Every machine used to be put kumkum and sandalwood and all that. All the machines they will put. You know that in the factory, right? And that time they will all sing, they will clap. Because I come from Maharashtra, in that place, Bombay, they will all clap. Kaya Navacha Manasendra. They say. But after all that, nobody will understand what they are singing. But what is the ultimate goal? Narayana Samarpayami. Right? And that it becomes a habit so much that you forget what you are saying also. Like that. But ultimately, if there is a pure Bhajji there who is sitting, he will say, boss, the goal is to surrender to that Narayana. So by doing that karma kanda, then you can migrate, you have a chance to migrate to, if you listen, you will have a chance to migrate to Sakama karma. Sakama karma is what most of us today are what? We have one leg in the material world and one leg in the spiritual world. Right? So Sakama. So we want, what do we want? We want Krishna or we want wealth? At the end of the day, we want Krishna. That's why otherwise we will not be sitting in this room. We all want Krishna. There is no doubt about that. All of us want to attain Bhagavan. But we are not able to get rid of all our material desires. So occasionally we have to go to the Lord. Oh Lord, can you facilitate this little thing for me? Please keep me in Melbourne. If you send me to China, then I will not be able to do devotional service. So all this is what? Conditional in nature. Our bhakti is very conditional in nature, like that. And we want certain facilities. Lord, give me good health, so at least I can chant. If you give me, what is that, carpal tunnel syndrome, then my hand will not move. I can't do bead bag. So, something we want from the Lord. Some situation that is conducive. So that is Sakama karma. But above that is what? Nishkama karma. Nishkama karma means what? I don't want anything from you, my dear Lord. I want to just make garlands for you. Correct? But the problem is, if you are removed from garland service, then you get angry. In our Melbourne Mahaprabhu Mandir also, there is a lot of fight over garland service. Okay? Mataji is laughing there. Okay. So there is, sometimes you get too attached. I will make only Radha Vallabha garland, or I will make only Jagannath Baldev garland, like that. So therefore, you are not attached to the results of the activity, but you are attached to the activity itself. That is Nishkama Karma Yoga. And then above that is Akama. Akama means what? Oh Bhagavan, if you want me to wash the toilet, I will wash the toilet. If you want me to make garlands, I will make. If you want me to give lecture, I will give. If you want me to put me in the kitchen, then I will go there also. Okay? Like that. You do whatever you want. I am just your instrument. So that is Akama. There is no desire except pleasing the Lord. There is no attachment to results. There is no attachment to activity. So we saw the different yoga letter. However, what is the overriding principle for all mankind? Akama sarva kamova moksha kama udaridhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajjata purusham param. Whether you are in any of these categories, still you worship Narayana. Even if you want promotion, you go to Narayana. Because he will fulfill your desire in such a way that it will take you closer to him. You will always benefit by going to Narayana. Even with material desires. So even if you have material desires, don't go to the demigods, Devi Devatas. Go to Vishnu. And it is not that if you go to Vishnu, Pullaya will be Kochapar. How dare you go there in the bypass Panettu. It is not our corporate world. The vice president is very angry. In the bypass Panettu, how this fellow has gone to president. Mere ko bypass karke kaisa president ka paas gaya hai. It is not like that. So we are putting the demigods at our level and thinking. Whereas in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is very clearly mentioned that if you water the root of a tree, the nourishment automatically goes to the branches and the twigs. You don't have to separately water the leaf and then fruit. No. You put water in you put food in your mouth, and that is enough to build your muscles. You don't have to take badam and put it inside the hand. Correct, no? Yeah. So therefore, if you worship Lord Krishna, all the Devi Devatas will be satisfied. Not that ye passport Baba bhadak jayenge or Sai Baba will get angry. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay, we have to understand the scriptures. Or Muttu Mariamman will get, or local Kula Devata. Innada nama Girikajambale worship panna matengaro. My parents once told me like that. Okay, but of course now they are also chanting because they understood the philosophy, right? Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a verse which says that. What is that verse? Yatha taror mula nishecharena trupyanti yat skanda bhujopashaka pranopaharascha yatendriyanam sarva arhanam achyutejya. Just by watering the root of the tree, boom, everything goes like that.
Prabhu, quick question. There is Akama Karma Yoga is above Jnana Yoga, right?
Akama Karma is about Jnana Yoga also, correct. So we didn't discuss Jnana Yoga. So Jnana is another rung in the ladder. Jnana Yoga is for people, who are Jnana Yoga means what? Connecting to the Lord through the medium of knowledge. So the higher focus is on knowledge and not bhakti. But then it is said that if you have higher amount of knowledge and not bhakti, then you will not be able to penetrate the Brahman layer. There is a Brahman layer. Hiranyamayena patrena. You will not be able to pierce that Brahman layer and see the face of Bhagavan. With Jnana, we cannot develop a relationship with the Lord. With Jnana, we can merge into Brahman, Brahma Jyoti. We can get impersonal liberation, but we cannot get relationship with the Lord, which requires penetrating through the Brahman layer, seeing the Lord face to face, and then developing a relationship with Him, like that. And Ashtanga Yoga is a byproduct of Dhyana Yoga. We saw that also. When the Jnana Yogi does all his Jnana, and by the Jnanam he gets Brahman layer, he sees everything outside, bright light. But then he wants to know who is the source of that bright light. So with outside he is seeing brightness, so he closes his eyes and starts seeing inward as to what is the source. When he sees his inward, that is called as Dhyana Yoga. And when the perfection of Dhyana Yoga was, he sees the source of that Brahman is Paramatma. So he says the 400 form, which is what Narad Muni Dhruva Maharaj saw. Correct? But then what did Lord say? You have seen me in this lifetime last time. Now you go and serve Guru. Then you will attain me as Bhagavan. So the absolute truth is realized in three phases. Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Brahman means realizing the impersonal feature of the Lord. Paramatma means seeing the Lord face to face. And Bhagavan realization means having a relationship with the Lord. Three levels of understanding. Impersonal, darshan of personal, and relationship with the personal.
This changing from one karma to the other, which we prioritize, is it the root cause for the sadhana?
Sorry, what is it?
Root cause for sadhana, from stepping from one to the other. The karmas you told just now.
No, it's saying with our sadhana, can we
change.
ascend?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So there are three ways in which you can go to the building. You can take the staircase, you can take the escalator, or you can take the elevator. So in this sadhana, you are not taking in Bhakti Yoga, you are not taking the escalator. Staircase is definitely slow process. But escalator also is dangerous. We discussed that. No? What is the problem with escalator? You went to buy a t-shirt, but t-shirt was available on 5th floor. You decided to take the escalator. But when you took the escalator on the 2nd floor, you found jewelry. You said, let me go and buy some jewelry. Then what will happen? What did you want to buy? T-shirt. What did you end up buying? Jewelry. And after some time you will forget, why did I go to the shop? Because you will get so besotted with the jewelry that you forgot the goal, why you entered the shop in the first place. This is the problem with other type of gradual ascension, right? Because if you want to go through Karma Kanda, then go to Jnana, Ashtanga Yoga, what it will do? Ashtanga Yoga will give you Ashta Siddhis. You can get diverted through these Ashta Siddhis and then start telling people that I am God because I can produce Vibhuti from my hand. This is Ashta Siddhi. And everybody will believe also that you are God. But this is just a product of Ashta Siddhi. You are not Bhagavan just because you can produce ash. Tamal Krishna Maharaj says even the factories are producing ash. Correct? Factories are also producing gold. So that doesn't become. These are Siddhis, specific Siddhis, Prapti Siddhis, which you have. Right? But Bhakti is completely different. Bhakti means what will happen, you enter the elevator and the door shuts. You don't see what's going on. When you open, you are there in the floor where you want to be. So it insulates you from everything that is going on around you. So that is why it is called as the express elevator. Is it clear? Then we saw that bhakti is the sole solution to lust. Kama esha, krodha esha. We saw that also. How bhakti is the only solution to lust. Lust cannot be overcome by doing New Year resolutions. Right? From tomorrow onwards, I will not stare at that lady in the tram. It doesn't work like that. You do whatever, then you will close your eyes and then it will go. Like that. Because where will your mind go? So for lust, we have to conquer the enemy inside our heart. Correct? So that can be done by taking shelter of Rishikesha. Rishikena, Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Vrutyache. So by engaging in devotional service, then the senses will be gradually controlled to the extent we are surrendering. In the Mill Park program today, we were discussing the root cause of all our problems is what? Inattentive chanting. That is the root cause. If we correct that one thing, everything else will be corrected. Everything will be corrected. If we correct inattentive chanting, everything else will be corrected. Like that. So chanting must be done during the Brahma Muhurta, morning. So we must not be lazy in the morning hours. If the more and more we think that we will do it tomorrow, we will never do it tomorrow. We have to do it today. Like that. So we have to put ourselves into the habit. Like last week, Mahesh Prabhu was there. I had requested him come, and immediately morning he came. Like that. So it was very good. You liked it, right? Coming in the morning program. Like that. So wonderful. Rupanava Prabhu and Mataji, every day they are coming for Mangalarti. I don't know how they are managing it. But that is, we have to follow in their footsteps. Every day both of them, this couple is coming. Like that. So that is the Prabhupada's recommended process. Of course, if we are staying far off, we can't come, then at least we have to still chant in the morning. Not that we are finishing our rounds at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, like that. Swami Adende, we are doing chanting. In Tamil we say, मतलब ऐसा नींद में chanting खत्म कर रहे हैं कैसा तो, and then seeing the bead चक्कर. Because after 10 o'clock and all, every bead is like a boulder. It doesn't move. Right? After some time you realize you are there only and you are Hare Krishna, like that. What is the point? This is not going to give Krishna Bhakti anyway. This will only give you a compliance. That's all. Compliance certificate of 16 rounds. Not Krishna Prem. So Bhakti is the sole solution. So the root cause is inattentive chanting. And today we gave some tips in the Bhakti about how to do attentive chanting, which has worked. Which we can discuss maybe outside the class. Then we saw that yajna is inevitable at any age and time. There is a lot of emphasis on yajna in chapter 3. Yajna means what? That which connects us to that which is done for the pleasure of Yajnapati. Yajnapati is who? Vishnu. That is called as yajna. So whatever activities that we do, if it is pleasing to the Lord, then that activity is called as yajna. Yajna doesn't mean only fire sacrifice has to be there and dalda or nahi has to be there, or what is the ghee should be there. That is not that is the external ingredients of yajna. But yajna means what? That activity must be pleasing to Vishnu. That is called as yajna. Then we move to chapter 4. Chapter 4, the famous verse comes. What is the famous verse of chapter 4? Tad vidi pranipatena Hri Prashnena Sevaya Padeshanti Jnanam Jnanina Sattva Darshinaha. We cannot attain Bhagavan without Guru. We cannot attain Bhagavan without Guru. And we cannot attain Guru without chanting. Therefore, we cannot attain Bhagavan without chanting. Right? Why do we need to chant to attain a Guru? Because only by chanting, who gives Guru to us? Krishna. And who gives Krishna to us? Guru. Correct? So by starting to chant, we are showing to Lord Krishna that, boss, I am serious about attaining you now. Now enough of showing me other things. Show me genuine Guru. That is our initial chanting. Right? It's like work done during probation period. If we do in probation time, we work very nicely. Company says, okay, you have demonstrated the capabilities required of project manager. Therefore, now you are confirmed. But you should have demonstrated that capability before. You cannot say, please believe me, I am project manager. No, it will not work like that. Company will say, why I should believe you? Everybody is saying that they are project manager. Correct, no? So then I am giving a probation period. So therefore, This probation period Krishna is giving. Before shelter, whatever we are chanting is probation period. That he recognizes the seriousness and then he will send a guru in your life. Suddenly that guru will inspire us, and then after that the guru will give us formal confirmation of job. Okay, shelter, and then initiation. So and so Devi Das. Das or Devi Dasi. And then you take a vow after that. That I will take a vow from now that never will there be a day that I will not chant my 16 rounds. Never will there be a day that I will touch tea, coffee, onion, garlic and meat. Huh? Restaurant, yes. Bengal tiger. There is a vow that you take. And I will assist my spiritual master in propagating the movement. So that is important. So, for that, surrender to spiritual master is required. So first, surrender to Siksha Guru is required. Then surrender to Diksha Guru. So which means surrendering to the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, who is our Parama Siksha Guru. And starting the process of associating with devotees, coming to the temple, taking Krishna Prasadam, establishing an altar in your house, offering whatever we eat to the Lord, right? Chanting, all those things. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, coming to the temple, all those things. And then gradually coming to shelter, then initiation. Like that. So we saw that this is the process of receiving transcendental knowledge. And then service to spiritual master. Very important. Service to Vaishnavas and to spiritual master. Then we saw the considerations in surrendering to a spiritual master. How do we decide which spiritual master to surrender to? So the considerations. So a whole lot of considerations were there. We will not go into each and every one. You can listen to the classes offline. There was an essay also on that. I think, I remember Asavari Mataji, she has written a very nice essay. So you can read her essay if you want to do this topic. How to choose spiritual master. She has covered everything we discussed in the class. So, yeah. So we saw various criteria. That it should not be based on நம்ம இந்தியாவில் ஒரு குருவே கிடைக்கலையா இந்த வெள்ளக்காரன் ஏன் நம்ம குருவாக இருக்கான் mind will tell. Mind can tell so many things. But we have to understand that we are not our body. Guru is not based on place of birth. Who do you want? You want a genuine product? Doesn't matter whether it is American or Australian. Or do you want any product as long as it is Indian? What do you want? We want a genuine product, no? Somebody who is within India but who has never read Bhagavad Gita in his life, and someone who is abroad, who was born in an American culture, they are embracing our culture, rich culture, and then adopting it, taking it the goal of their life. Who is better qualified to address us? Person who is serious. Because at the end of the day, we are not the body at all. So where is the question of American and Australian? Bhakti is an activity of the soul, not of the body. So therefore, but this knowledge we should have. If we don't have this knowledge, then we will always be in love with our own opinions. That's all. And therefore we will never progress anywhere. So first we have to understand, get this knowledge, and with this knowledge then we have to surrender. Like that. So the considerations in surrendering to a spiritual master. What is the basic consideration? Vacho vegam, manasa krodham, jiva vegam, udara upashta vegam. A person who can be a guru, who has control over his tongue, over his belly, over his genitals, such a person can be a guru, and who is always talking about Krishna, who has realized the truth himself and who is following the process of bhakti seriously in his life. Such a person is qualified to make disciples all around the world. Right? There is no other consideration needed. Guru consideration should not be also about from our place of birth. Because I am born in Karnataka, therefore Kannada Guru is very good. Because I am following Bengal, then Bengali Guru is required. It doesn't work like that. Or Sampradaya. Because I am born in some place, then I am that Sampradaya. It is beyond all these things. Guru is one who inspires you to surrender more to Krishna. And that is the only job of a Guru. Only job of a Guru is what? To inspire people to surrender. Then we saw karma, vikarma and akarma. Karma is what? Any activities which are in line with the scriptural injunctions. Vikarma is any activity which are contrary to the spiritual injunctions. And akarma is all those activities which are conducive to, which are pleasing to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is called as akarma. And when we act on that platform, then karma doesn't touch us. Of course, Govind Prabhu still gives a higher philosophy, but again, that's for a separate session. Where he says, not always that you do akarma, then you should think that there will be no reactions to you. That is a different thing. That's a different lila part. Sometimes the Lord will still give you that, just to test us. Even when we are preaching genuinely Krishna consciousness, still people will mistake us and they may not talk to us. So that doesn't mean that everything will be very nice just because you are acting on the platform of akarma. So he talks about that in one of the classes. The loop of material entanglement and the solution. We saw that also. How? Because we perform papam, then we get aprarabdham. Then by time, then it becomes prarabdham. Then we suffer. Because we are suffering, we perform more sinful activities. Correct? And because we perform more sinful activities, we get a taste for more sinful activities. Correct? So because of papam, then there is kutam and then bijam. So in that whole cycle we keep going round and round and round. Correct? Because I did one murder, therefore I enjoyed it, therefore now I am doing another murder. Like that. Or because I enjoyed once illicit sex, therefore I want to enjoy more and more of that. Like that. So one sin begets another and also begets a tendency to indulge in that more and more. So how to get out of this cycle? What is the root cause of this? Avidya or ignorance. So that is where that knowledge comes. One must not give up dutiful work. Again we discussed this in great detail. Again Lord is still convincing Arjuna, don't give up your duty. Arjuna is even now saying, I will go to the forest. So he says, your duty as a Kshatriya, you must do your duty. Action in inaction and inaction in action. One must do one's duty. So if you are a Kshatriya, you must do your Kshatriya duties. But that is called as Varnashrama Dharma. But devotees again are not only interested in doing Varnashrama Dharma. We are interested in pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is Daivi Varnashrama. So we discussed various aspects of that. Then we discussed the mood of performing sacrifices. The mode of performing any sacrifice must be again for the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Again, there are so many related themes that we have spoken in chapter 4. Then in chapter 5, which is what we have just started, we have just completed 7 verses, we saw the Falashruti of chapter 5, which is that anyone who reads chapter 5, even the most sinful person will reach Vaikuntha. We saw the example of the husband and wife who, the wife was not having character, the husband, and she killed the husband. Then the wife also went to hell. Right? And then there was a skull in which the wife took a body of a pigeon or something like that and then fell in the water. But that skull was belonging to a Vaishnava and therefore they got delivered. So we saw that, no? That pastime. So this is the Falashruti of 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Even most sinful person can attain Vaikuntha. And then in the 5th chapter, Arjuna is asking a question. What is better and more beneficial? To work or to renounce work? They both appear incompatible. You have given so many instructions. Now still my confusion is there. Should I work or should I renounce work? So Lord Krishna says that both of them are not opposed to one another. Work and renunciation are not opposed. They are not opposite things, right? To each other. But Lord says, but still if you want an answer, working in devotion is better than dry renunciation. So Bhakti Yoga is better than Karma Sannyasa. Like that. So Lord is saying that. And Bhakti Yoga is easier also than renunciation. Bhakti Yoga is easier and Bhakti Yoga is transcendental. Renunciation need not be transcendental. Renunciation means you are just abstaining from the material energy. But you have still not taken shelter of the spiritual energy. Right? You are still in your tatastha position. Marginal energy. Undecided. But Bhakti is transcendental. And then the concept of Yukta Vairagya and Falgu Vairagya. So renunciation means what? Dovetailing the material energy in Krishna consciousness rather than just rejecting the material energy. Like that. And then we saw the difference between a renunciate and a bhakti yogi. We saw some 12 points in a table, which I am sure most of you have forgotten. You can go back and refer your notes. There is a table which we did. Maybe next class you can read that and come. And then we will now go forward from verse 8 in the next class. Okay. Now that was about the recap. Now in the next 15-20 minutes or so, we will discuss essays.
This is 8 to 5.82?
Huh?
5.82.
No. Previous essays.
No. Next class.
5.8 to 10 verses you read.
I don't know, only read 5.1 to 5.6 probably.
5.6. We did 5.6, huh? So 5.7 we have to start. Okay. To what? No. What does Gaurang Priya Prabhu's note say? Huh? 12, huh? Okay, so from 6 to 12. 7 to 12, sorry. Alright. So I have marked almost most of the essays I have marked. I think probably 75% I have marked. 75 to 80%, no? Essays I have marked. Now just to let you know, I have marked your essays based on 6 criteria. One is whether you have covered the subject matter adequately. So that is called as coverage. It's called as coverage. Coverage means that you have covered the entire length and breadth of the topic in your essay. Okay? The second is depth. Not only coverage, but depth. How deeply you have understood that topic which has been given to you. So that is also being assessed. Third is originality. Are you simply playing back my own notes to me, or are you adding any of your original thinking and application into the essay? Huh? She's going to that room now because I don't want her to miss out on what I'm saying. Oh, there is no telecast now. It's going on? Okay. So the third aspect is originality. So I talked about coverage, depth, and this is true for your future essays also. Ensure you are covering the topic, ensure you are showing enough depth, and please show originality. Most of the essays which have got average marks are because of lack of originality, because playing back to me whatever I told in the class. Okay, so it's just like, I come to know what I told in the class, or writing back, in point fashion what I have anywhere written here. So that's not the reason for you writing the essay. That is called as class notes. So essay should not be a copy of class notes like that. Okay, essay should be your original thinking. Then succinctness. Succinctness means you have not written big, another Nectar of Devotion book. The essay is, as I said, 1.5 pages, not more than that. So some people have still written 2 pages. Okay, and still not covered neither there is coverage nor there is depth. But 2 pages are there. Okay, but succinctness also doesn't mean that you write half a page. Some of you have written 3/4 of a page with big font size and one shloka of 4 lines in between. Okay, so obviously, that's not going to get anything. Some 10 lines essay or some 50, it will not go anywhere. There is no challenge at all. It doesn't test whether you have understood or not understood. Just for example, karma, akarma, vikarma. Karma means acting in line with Krishna. Akarma means violating. Vikarma, what is that? Something, blah blah. Therefore we must chant 16 rounds, something like that. What kind of essay is that? What is the application there? So this anybody can write. You don't need to do Bhakti Shastri course to write this. You have to be a Shastri when you write. Write essays like Shastri. Like a Pandit who has studied the scriptures. So give more to it. But succinctness means you write 1.5 page. That is good enough. But if you write 2 page, ensure that at least you have showed some originality and depth. Not just you have tried to go on writing. Then Shastric integrity. Not writing anything, inventing your own philosophy. Shastric integrity means it has to be in line with what the Acharyas have said. And structure and flow. Some essays are really nicely structured, okay, and some are wavered here and there. So what I have done is, for every chapter, every candidate, I have given you feedback that for that essay, what was your strength which you demonstrated and what did you not demonstrate. The fact that you have demonstrated something doesn't mean you have not demonstrated the others, because I can't give feedback on so many parameters for 200 essays. Then I will have only that thing, full year I have to sit, 1 year vacation I have to give. Okay. So it is personal to the extent that, for example, I will say that Deenavatsala Prabhu, in chapter 1, his strength has been Shastric integrity, and his weakness has been depth. Something like that. This is the only feedback you will get on your essays. But this itself took me quite a bit of effort to give you this feedback because I had to go through the essay. So don't expect that I'll write comments, you should have written like this. Because if I start doing that for 200 essays, then I'm finished. You will also finished. You will never get your scores back. But that should give you enough. But what I will give you is generally, what does it mean? Which I will tell you now. If I have given you, obviously you will be more interested in the areas of improvement. Because I have told you what each one means. So, if I give you that you are very good in Shastric integrity, please understand, if I have given you that your strength is Shastric integrity, that means your essay has just been acceptable level. So if you are getting your high as Shastric integrity, please understand that your essay has been and your marks will also reflect that. It is just acceptable level. But if you have given you a high mark on originality or depth, then you understand that you have done a very good essay. Like that. Okay. And if you have given you, for example, if your weakness has been coverage, it doesn't mean that your depth was fantastic. It doesn't necessarily mean like that. It just means that the most visible area of improvement for you is coverage, which means you have written a very short essay. In short, that means you are not covered whatever was written. In fact, there are two essays that I corrected. The topic is something, and the topic is also written on top, but something else is written down. It is not even related to the topic. Okay, completely off like that. So in fact, now if I tell you rewrite the essay, it is more work for me. So therefore I am saying coverage, because you have not covered the topic. So but it doesn't mean scope for improvement in coverage. It means you have not even understood the topic. So at least start covering something from the topic. It means that. Okay. So please ensure you understand the topic clearly. If you don't want to ask the neighbor, because it's an open book, you can always ask somebody. What am I supposed to write in this? Take help of your cell leaders. Assuming that the cell leaders understand what is the topic. Of course they will understand. That is my conviction. So please, but seriously, take help from the cell leaders. They will be able to tell you what that means. Okay. Now, finally, there are certain examples of some statements which I will just read out quickly. There are some very good statements that some of you have written. But these are the statements which are very good in an essay to write. Someone has written, the eagerness to please Krishna is more effective in earning the Lord's favor than strict compliance with sacrifices. So these kind of statements really stand out in an essay. It really sums up that you have understood the essence of that essay. There is... Now, some of the cases where Shastric integrity is little bit lacking, I will show you one sentence which is lacking Shastric integrity. The Lord created this material world to enable the conditioned souls to learn how to perform sacrifices for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. Till here it is fine. So that while in the material world they can live very comfortably without anxiety. Okay, this is slightly, little bit off. Somewhere little tangent it is going now. This argument. Okay, the Lord did not create the material world here so that we can live without anxiety for some time in the material world. Material world, padam padam vipadam natesham. So it is, material world is full of anxiety, it is said. So somewhere, of course, I can understand where the person is coming from, but please understand that if I am reading it, I will understand what you are thinking. But if a person outsider is reading it, he will not understand. So every essay you have to write in such a way that an outsider is reading it. A non-practitioner of Krishna consciousness is reading it like that. And still it has to make sense to that person, what we are saying. Then there is some examples which I'm not saying good, bad or whatever, I'm not passing a judgment, but I'm saying that it's difficult to understand. The traffic laws have a purpose to help the driver reach his destination smoothly. If a driver is unsure of his destination, he is eventually lost despite his strict following of the traffic rules. Similarly, if the performer of a sacrifice is unaware of the goal of going back to Godhead, he is lost in the material world, even in the garb of a religious conviction. Actually, this is not a bad, this is a good point. This is one of the good points that I picked up. Okay, this is a very good example somebody has written. Then one more. Now this is something which I didn't understand. Yeah. There is the telescope analogy, wherein we understand that just as the more finely crafted lenses possessed by a telescope, the more our eye has a direct relationship with the stellar bodies, so similarly the more transparent servants between us and Krishna or the spiritual master, the sentence has not ended till now, the more our direct relationship with Krishna and the spiritual master is enhanced. What does this mean? I didn't understand. I read it many times, I couldn't understand. Okay, what this means? What traffic light, what is going on, I don't understand. For me it was a red light, as far as the essay is concerned. And then finally the conclusion was, we all accept this important point about the Achinta Bheda Bhed Tattva. Now where does that come in? I have no clue what is going on here. So I don't know what to say. Coverage, depth, succinctness, what? Relevance. There was nothing called as relevance. Otherwise I will give it. No. Or incomprehensibility. I should add more dimensions of evaluation. So, please have some mercy on me. The first goal of sacrifice is, it purifies one from all sins and makes one happy. The second goal is, it uncovers Brahman and reveals transcendental knowledge. The third goal is devotional service. Now I don't know where someone picked this up from. Okay. Where is it said that the first goal of sacrifice is to get relief from sin and be happy? Where is it written? I don't know. Okay. Now I am also giving benefit of doubt that there is something which, because I am not a perfect person. So, but I couldn't really grasp what the person is trying to say here. Maybe they were trying to project the yoga ladder. First the person tries to become happy in spiritual life, then they understand the goal. Maybe it was like that. But the way it is coming across is giving a different effect. Again, I am reading it from the lens of an outsider. Please understand. When I am assessing your essays, I am reading it as an outsider. As if I don't know anything in Krishna consciousness. And seeing if it makes sense to me. Like that. Then another statement was, therefore it is important first to really focus on Prabhupada's teaching and observe whatever he stresses. Whatever he establishes is important, and then we can look sometimes a little bit on Vedic background information. Now I don't know what this means again. Completely confused I am with this sentence. It is important to first focus on Srila Prabhupada's teaching and sometimes a little bit on Vedic background information. So sometimes we can look there. So I don't know what that sentence had to do with the theme of the essay. So please guard against writing your own purports like this. Innovative statements. Of course, this is not originality. Originality means presenting as it is in an original form. Not another sampradaya we don't want to start. We have enough sampradayas. When we utilize these things, I'm done almost. When we utilize these things from nature, we have to pay taxes to the supplying agent. Just as citizens of a country are duty bound to pay taxes for the utilities provided by the government. By performing yajna or sacrifices, one pleases the demigods. So this is a good statement. Okay, this is one of the statements which is showing the understanding. Then now this is again Shastric integrity. This is a very peculiar statement. Somebody is writing, for example, a politician would go to different temples and offer his black money to the Lord. So the Lord is pleased and thus stops any hurdles coming under in his way. This is Karma Yoga. Where did I tell this? This is Karma Yoga. Actually, the person should repeat the course. In Bombay, we had what is 80 KT. You have heard 80 KT? Anyone? Allowed to keep term. Means one more time you can appear for the exam. My temptation was that, after seeing this statement, that means the Karma Yoga principle is completely gone now here. Politician is offering black money to the Lord. Where is this Karma Yoga? Then I would like to do that Karma Yoga. We'll all become politicians. It's the easiest thing to do. All of us are Karma Yogis then. Okay. This is exactly what is not Karma Yoga actually. Okay. So we have to be careful. So whoever has written this, please go back and brush your concepts. Then another one, I am sorry to mention this, but some your permission. As Yamuna Leela Mataji mentioned, ... I am happy that my wife has been quoted. please understand, in essays, I'm not really expecting you to write that. As Yamunal, you don't get extra marks for that. As Jagannath Ram mentioned in the class, no extra marks for that. I'll tell you why. Because your essay should be such that a person who is a non-practitioner should also be able to, so the person who is more like, if you say, for example, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj wrote, then I can understand. Okay? Or Srila Prabhupada or Narottam Das Thakur quoted. If you say Jagannath Ram Das and Yamunal Mataji told this, you can say that, but don't write in the essay like that. Print it. You should take us seriously, but not so seriously. Because we are not scripture writers. Okay. But you can say, if you want, you can say, as Gaurang Prabhu mentioned, because they are all devotees who are, on a, you can actually say on an international level, they are well known like that. And they are fairly well established senior devotees like that. Okay. So, but I don't expect you to write this. If you still want to write, I don't have any problem because, I don't write my name, you can write her name. Okay. Because, yes, she is also representing a Sampradaya. In that sense, he will not tell you outside the Sampradaya. She is a certified Bhakti Shastri teacher now, but it is not required, that's what I am saying. Okay, now another sentence which I did not understand. I should practice by fasting during other festivals, which are not long. What do you mean by that?
Better do Balram Purnima fast and all, which is half day.
Oh, that is what they meant. Okay. So maybe I should give her the assessment of essays from now. She is able to comprehend more than what I am able to. I didn't understand this. I should practice by fasting other festivals which are not as long. So, yeah. So these are some of, I don't know why I read this out, but maybe it makes some sense on certain do's and don'ts. That's what is coming out. So when you write, please write that new person is reading, based on that. Srila Prabhupada ki.